I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
Ubisoft caught lying to investors. The video is by Smash JT.
The gameplay for our two highly anticipated upcoming premium titles, Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, was not only praised by players and critics alike, but also highlighted the cutting-edge capabilities of our game engine.
I don't know if Ubisoft thinks that we're all
The
stupid
fuck?
or if they're just completely ignorant to reality. What's going on, guys?
I
Welcome
think
to
they're
another
just
episode
ignorant
of
to
Smash
reality.
JT.
Like,
The recent earnings call from Ubisoft has completed, where
Bro.
Ubisoft executives were painting
That's
a
wild.
somewhat rosy picture of their upcoming titles, including Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws. They conveyed a narrative that was overwhelmingly positive, where the community sentiment was super excited and just couldn't wait to get their hands on these games. Which is interesting, because if you pull your head out of the ground and actually look around at reality, you'd realize that it's anything but that. So in this video, we're not going to talk about just the earnings call, but
That
the complete
is.
disconnect between Ubisoft
Jeez.
corporate executives and actual gamers that are excited about playing upcoming games, and how Ubisoft games are not those. Hit that
Hopefully they
subscribe, give me a
fail
like,
on
and check out
release.
SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down how Ubisoft is completely out of touch and disconnected with their actual consumers. You know, the gamers playing their games, the ones they think are super excited about their games and telling investors about how the community sentiment is super positive, when in reality, it's anything but that.
okay, technically speaking, and again, I'm not a professional at it, I'm just talking out of my ass. Wouldn't lying to investors be the same as fraud?
That would be fraud, ain't it? Because you're not showing the full product and how the game is being perceived through the masses.
Yeah, like, I think that would be, technically that would be fraud.
Yeah, but the investors also can, look too, see what's going on.
It's like, you guys all have mobile phones, right?
You guys all have phones, right? You guys all have internet, right?
No, honestly, let's be full disclosure. I'm sure there are a couple people out there that are genuinely excited about Star Wars Outlaws, and hell, even Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm sure you can find a few people that are excited about it, don't care about the background, the community backlash, the reality, the Wikipedia changes, any of the stuff that's going on. People just want to play the games to have fun with them, and there might be some people out there looking forward to it. But the reality is, the vast majority of gamers that I have interacted with and seen online talking about these games do not want anything to do with them. Ubisoft reported their first quarter earnings for 2024-2025, stating they have a...
Wait. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that makes sense.
There we
Not one
go.
day. Let's do 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know what investor will look at this trajectory and go, yeah, let's invest. Oh, God. Okay.
reported their first quarter earnings for 2024-2025, stating they have a strong upcoming release slate with Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. The narrative they conveyed was one of overwhelming positivity and anticipation, contrasting starkly with, the actual sentiment running through the gaming community, the truth, reality, that little thing.
You know what hurts the most? This game could have been so great.
It could have.
This
If they said it was fictional and it was a make-believe story.
No, even without that, even if they wouldn't have went woke and hired the worst possible person for people for this project, this game, the setting, the old architecture, the old culture, it would have been so breathtaking.
It would have if they had the right architecture, the right writing, the right mindset.
What we have factored in is a strong launch for Star Wars Outlaws that reflects the fact that indeed it's among the most awaited game of the industry this year, and reflecting a really strong positive community
What?
sentiment.
During the earnings
No?
What kind of brother? What?
Wild.
He said among the most awaited game of the industry this year, and reflecting a really strong
And reflecting
positive
a really strong positive community.
Oh my god, the delusion though. I look, I don't know if this is a delusion or just blatant just insanity.
This guy has either the biggest balls or the smallest IQ.
Sentiment.
During the earnings call, a Ubisoft executive was answering questions post-earnings, talking about why the community sentiment is so great and how these games are going to carry Ubisoft to the promised land. And they said some things that really raised some eyebrows.
And
Yeah,
also,
just a little
we expect
bit.
the Shadows to be the
Uh-huh.
most ambitious title of the series. And should do very well through the busy season.
During their earnings call,
Bro, what?
I have no words.
Ubisoft described the gameplay for their anticipated titles like Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows as not only being praised by players and critics alike, but also how they showcase cutting-edge capabilities of their game engine. And here's the thing.
With the wrong
Yes, if you want to take
architecture,
a gigantic step
Yup.
back and just look at these games on the
Wrong
surface
letters.
for what they are,
Yo.
stolen symbols.
Hmm.
at the end of the day, video games, I mean, sure, I guess they look alright from a certain perspective, as long as you don't look too closely at how they made characters look
Yep.
a certain
Yep. Yep.
So
way, or how they chose to go certain
PS2
directions
game.
with the storytelling
the
aspects. and
PS2
how
game.
clearly they
Look, I'm gonna say this. Didn't they complain that there's not enough representation in games? And now all of a sudden, too much representation. They took her and made her into a white chick.
how they
That's
chose to go
crazy,
certain
Okay.
directions with the
Okay.
storytelling aspects. And
Okay.
there's DEI injected into these games and how they're trying to make people ignore all that stuff because they just want to sell their games. But investors weren't having any of it. Right after the earnings call, the stock tanked, dropping nearly 10% in a day and continuing down over the following days. But don't let facts get in the way of a good story. Ubisoft executives continued.
The Shadows to be the most ambitious title of the series. And should do very well through the busy season.
Okay, so and when you talk about it being the most ambitious, are you hoping for it to be the best-selling Assassin's Creed game? Is that how I can read that commentary?
The corporate enthusiasm
What
seems to
the
be
fuck?
Bro.
Even the dudes was like, you sure about it?
You sure? Like, you gotta be sure about this. We
with
can't
the
take this back.
actual general sentiment of the gaming community, something that I've been covering at length on this channel between Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, two games that in theory could potentially be incredible experiences, but when you actually dive into what's transpiring behind the scenes of these games and
No.
how it's being injected with a bunch of stuff that nobody actually wants, it's turning a bunch of gamers off. Ubisoft's approach to
Just a
handling said
little.
backlash appears to
Yeah.
be pretty dismissive,
It
focusing
ain't
only
big
on
thing.
promotional narratives that highlight theoretical success.
This game
and
could have been
innovation.
amazing, like you
Their
said.
statements in the earnings call reflect a much broader issue within Ubisoft, a complete and utter disconnect with the gaming community at large. It feels like the company is operating in a bubble sometimes, projecting their success and
Yeah.
positivity with rose-colored glasses, while completely glossing over real criticisms and concerns from actual players. They just put their fingers in their ear and scream, la 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 la, we're making games, you'll play. The response was pretty damn evasive. Ubisoft's representative stated that they do not usually disclose or comment on pre-orders, yet they continue to emphasize how these titles are some of the most anticipated games coming out in gaming, ignoring the community sentiment that is anything but that.
Could you talk about pre-orders for both Outlaws and Shadows and how they compare to previous titles?
So in terms of, we don't disclose nor comment pre-orders usually. What we can say is that what we've been observing and measuring is that our two big titles actually are indeed among the most awaited games of the industry, and they enjoy a very strong positive community sentiment overall.
That vague
Stop.
response does not confront
Stop.
any real
Bro, what kind is this? What kind of... What is he smoking? Can I have some of that?
issues at hand. The gaming community and the sentiment at large is very anti these games right now. And instead of acknowledging that and trying to change the community sentiment, Ubisoft is willingly and willfully ignoring what people are telling them and just saying, we're going to give you this game and you're going to buy it and you're going to like it whether you like it or not. Which doesn't make much sense. On top of that, Ubisoft is starting to block detractors, which is just wild to me.
What?
Now, I could
Wait.
understand a one-off or a no-name account out there that would just say, hey, I
They're gonna start blocking detractors. Okay, okay, cool, yeah. At least, sure. Let's see how that ends.
got blocked by Ubisoft, like a troll account. But they blocked Manga Lawyer, one of the most respected Twitter accounts out there when it comes to finding information and dirt on these companies, just calling it like they see it, using facts and evidence to show the proof of their theories and say, here's the reality, here's what's happening, make your own decision. Ubisoft, instead of confronting that and acknowledging it and trying to make it better, blocked
What
him.
are they
The
thinking?
gap between Ubisoft's public statements and the community's reception of Assassin's Creed Shadows specifically shows more challenges growing like mold in the industry when it comes to those participating in DEI. Companies like Ubisoft must not only listen to their player base, but also actively
Yeah, he
engage
tall.
and address concerns that
He
are
is
arising
tall.
He tall as
ignoring
shit.
significant
No, holy fuck.
segments of the community.
I didn't realize like they made him like fucking 6'5"
Well,
in a country with short people.
well, that's genetics.
That's
Community or misrepresenting sentiments can lead to broader disconnect, ultimately impacting the game's reception and commercial success potential, which is exactly what's transpiring here. And like I said earlier, this did not fool any investors. After they answered these questions, it didn't matter, the stock tanked anyway, because people see the sentiment, they see the reality. Ubisoft is not only lying to you as a gamer, but
That
now
money.
proof in the pudding right here that they are lying directly to the investors, straight up saying, yeah, the community sentiment's great about these games and we're really excited about the hype surrounding them, when the reality is anything but. And personally, I'm
Look, I just don't understand how can they say that with a straight face?
genuinely curious on the legal ramifications from making statements like this. Like, yeah, sure, it's generalizing and it's giving your thoughts and feelings and opinions to the investors, but in reality, it's giving them a perspective that is an incorrect picture that is being painted. The community sentiment is anything but positive right now regarding Star Wars Outlaws and especially Assassin's Creed Shadows. And while Ubisoft needs these games to be massive successes in order to continue in business, that doesn't give them the right to straight up lie to investors. And
Yeah,
I've seen
this
some
is
people
like-
on my Twitter already reaching out to lawyers wondering about the legal ramifications to saying things like this to investors.
There
to
we go.
companies,
there you go.
Legal mindset. Not legal ego, but legal mindset. That's highly illegal, and SEC could be up on their behinds. Would love for the legal mindset opinion on it. Oh boy, on it.
Holy shit, my man's just like, I'm eating good tonight. He's like, I'm a cook.
telling them that these games are highly anticipated and that the community sentiment is great and everyone is so excited about them, when that's not the case. Ubisoft's handling of the Assassin's Creed Shadow backlash in their earnings call serves as a reminder to how game developers and publishers can become alarmingly out of touch with their audiences, choosing to focus on their self-praise narrative rather than addressing any real criticism or concerns. Ubisoft has risked not only success of their titles, but also their reputation in the gaming community. At least, whatever reputation they have to salvage left.
They don't
Anyways,
have
I'm
any.
going to leave it there. If you guys want more information on this story, check out smashjt.com. I will link this article in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, please consider hitting that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
What we've been observing
video.
and measuring is that
That was a
our
good video.
two,
I like that one
big
a lot.
titles actually are indeed among the most awaited games of the industry.
Okay.
And they enjoy a very strong positive community sentiment.
You know what's funny?
I can't.
Before he said that, he's like,
I can't.
he didn't even believe it himself.